G'day, it's Jerry here. Today we're looking at an Atari 2600 Junior console. I got a great deal off eBay. I got a bundle of untested Atari equipment, including the console, joysticks, games. It didn't come with a power supply. There's a detailed part of this video where I go through the different options of power supplies. If you're interested in that, I end up using this very cheap module off AliExpress. It can be used to power loads of different electronic devices. As per usual, there are lots of links down below, so you can just jump to the different portions of the video if you want. Otherwise, you're going to see me pull this apart, clean it up, get everything working, get the power supply working, test the games, and generally just have a relaxing time playing with old vintage video game equipment. If that's the sort of thing you like, think about subscribing to my channel and checking out my other videos. Okay, joystick number one. Feels good. Aha, so some original Atari joysticks. Feels all right. Joystick number three. How many joysticks are there? Joystick number four. Yeah, these will break your wrist. They're so stiff by design. So how many is that? That's 5 joysticks. Wow. It's a real haul. Oh, that one looks like it's got a few problems. Might be nothing, of course. Manuals, Dig Dug, Crystal Castles. I don't think they're the games that have been provided. So we've got Dodgem, Tennis, and Pitfall. This is the one. Oh, what a classic game this was. All of these look pretty good. If I look inside them, they look pretty good to me. Okay, so we've got a cable for the aerial to plug it into the TV. And finally, the console itself. So this console actually looks in pretty good condition, I'll be honest with you. Just externally, just looks a bit dusty. So there's a serial number that should give us the date code. Everything looks great. Now there's no power supply, so we'll have to get something to power it up, and then we'll go ahead and give it a test. Can't wait. Let's go over the power requirements for this console because it didn't come with a power supply. So looking up on the internet, it says that it needs a 9-volt DC power supply. It needs to be 500 milliamps. The polarity of the pin is center pin positive, and the connector is a 3.5 male mono jack. So the jack is this. It's a sort of jack that you would have in audio equipment. So I bought this one at JCar for 50 cents, and I'm going to have to wire this up. But first of all, we've got to find a power source. The first power option is to simply buy a replacement power supply. There will be people on eBay that will be providing ones. If you don't know much about power supplies, I've printed out a few symbols here so that we can take a look at these power supplies that I've got lying around and see if we can find the right one. So it said center positive, and this is the symbol for center positive. Now you can get a negative pin in the center. It's not as common, but it does happen. Also, it needs to be 9 volts DC. So here's the symbol for DC. So it's a line with some dashes, and here's a symbol for AC. Let me show you some of these power supplies that I've got here. So this is 9 volts, and the symbol indicates that it is DC, and it says 350 milliamps. So this is almost right, but we need 500 milliamps. Now it's perfectly okay to have a power supply that has more than the amperage that you require. So if this was a 1 amp or a 1.5 amp power supply, that's okay. It's not okay if the voltage is greater, but this one only goes up to 350 milliamps and we need 5. So this one is out. The next one we have here, it says 9 volts AC 800 milliamps. So this isn't going to work either. So it doesn't have the symbol for AC, which is this symbol here, but it actually says it on here. So that's out as well. So here's another one. It says 12 volts, DC 1.5 amps, and it is center pin positive. If this was 9 volts, we'd be good to go. So what am I going to do? Well, fortunately for me, I have got a lab power supply, and it's this. So this is a module that you can get off AliExpress for $10 to $15, and it is basically a very small lab power supply. And you can dial in the voltage that you want and the current that you want. The only thing about this is that you need to power it via a DC power supply. I've got a power supply here that is rated at 12 volts, 1.5 amp. So I can power this device from here and I will be able to set it to give me 9 volts with a maximum of 500 milliamps. Here's the plan. So to get my 9 volt DC 500 milliamps center pin positive power supply, we're going to build it using this module here, which you can purchase off AliExpress for $10 to $15. I'm going to sacrifice this old Netgear power supply, which is 12 volts, 1.5 amps. So we'll cut the end off that. Then we just need to screw that into here. And then we're going to construct the lead that goes into the Atari out of this mono jack that I've got. And I think I will use the cable off this other power adapter, which I'm never going to use because that is 6 volts, 200 milliamps. I'm never going to need that. So I might as well recycle that as well. So once we've done that, we've got a nice little portable power supply that we can use to run the Atari and other things if we want to do that. All right, let's get into it. I'll just cut this off, get rid of that. Yeah, so it's just a matter of screwing them in here. So we've got voltage in. So the one with the white stripe on it should be the live one, but I'll check that with a multimeter before I do anything. I'll just plug this in. Yeah, if it's the right way around, we should see a positive voltage. Otherwise, we would see a negative voltage. So that's reading 13.3. So I think that'll be plenty. So there's no load on that, which is probably why it's reading a little bit high. There you go. That's all there is to it. So plug this in and see if this thing lights up. Nice. I've never used this before. So that's looks to be in current. Set the voltage. Is that how that works? Constant voltage. We want 9 volts. Probably an easier way to do this. 9 volts and maximum 1 amp. Cool. So I'm going to sacrifice this old adapter. Chuck that out. And we don't need the end either. Okay, so let's take a look at this mono jack. It's been a while since I've done anything with these. It's not super pretty, but that will do for now. So we just need to connect this. Okay, so that's it. So let's test this out. Let me plug it back in. Well, good thing I checked, hey? It's minus. Negative. Did I connect these around the wrong way? Yes, absolutely I did. Oh well, good thing I checked, otherwise we would have blown it up. All right, so we've got 9 volts on the dot. Center pin positive. Okay, so we've built ourselves a little power supply that we can use for this Atari. All right, so we're ready to go now. We've got our 9-volt power supply set up here. It's limited, current limited to 500 milliamps. I've got it connected to my TV in front of my desk. This isn't a great setup, but I can't use my CRT TV for various reasons. So this is an LCD TV with an analog input, but it should be good enough. I think we're all ready. So I've never used an Atari console. I have no idea what happens when you try and turn it on without a cartridge in it, but that's what we're going to do. We're going to try that. So no cartridge, power on. Ooh. Okay. Oh, looks like we've got a video signal of some description. Oh. That almost looks like a test pattern. Oh, it's just changing randomly every time I turn it on. All right. Let's grab a cartridge. Tennis. Plug that in. Turn it on. Oh, yes! Unbelievable! It works! Oh, this is just too good. Where's my joystick? I've taken one of the joysticks that I got and plugged it in, and see what happens. Oh, which one am I? I'm that one. Oh. Oh my God, it actually works, and the joystick works as well. Unbelievable. Huh. Okay, and looking at the current being drawn, it's only drawing 300 milliamps. So, you know, the 500 milliamps that it says is the maximum, you know, perhaps it doesn't need anywhere near that. Who knows? But yeah, I like the power supply is working great. Really happy with that. Oh, nice. Oh, excellent. That works. Let us try the other cartridges. So we've got Tennis. The other one that we have, PITFALL, which is the one that I remember going around to a friend's place and playing, and it was just like mind-blowingly good for its time. Yes. Ah, yeah. I remember it's really difficult. yeah, really difficult. Straight up. They didn't make them easy back in the day. I'll have to play some more later, but let's check out the third cartridge. So PITFALL works, Tennis works. Here's a hat trick, dodge 'em. Dodge 'em works. Wow. Unbelievable. I have no idea how this plays. Okay. Okay, so we seem to have a bit of a problem with this cartridge, or maybe it's with all of the cartridges. If I just happen to touch them. Okay. So now we have a problem. Okay, interesting. Oh, and we're back. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so it looks as though we've got perhaps some dodginess happening down in here, whether that's to do with oxidization, or perhaps there's some loose solder joints in there that prevent that from making good contact all the time. Just try that. Yeah. So it looks as though it's not completely working, which is good, because that gives me a chance to open it up and have a good look at it, and see if we can't fix that. The other thing I want to do is check all the joysticks. This joystick seems to work fine, but we might as well try the other ones and see if they're going to work as well. Okay, so let's try out some of these joysticks. So joystick number 1. Doesn't feel quite as good as the other one, but it's still usable. This is the third white joystick. This one's not as good as the others. It's a bit stiff. So all of these joysticks, one black one and the 3 white ones, are all working fine. That only leaves this, what I would call a quick shot style joystick. So I associate these with using them on a PC or a computer, sorry. Rather than a console. I'm just assuming that it works. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's beautiful in comparison. Oh, that's so much better. Oh, what a joy to use. Oh yeah. Okay, I could play this for hours. So that works really well as well. I can't believe, you know, I paid $60 for all of this. And so far, it's been absolutely worth every penny. So what are we going to do next? Well, we obviously have a problem here with the cartridge slot. Just touch it and the game goes off. Now, whether or not that is something physical in here, or perhaps it's just needs a bit of solvent in there, I don't know. We'll have to work that out, but we're going to pull this out and have a look anyway. I'm amazed at how nice this console is. I don't think it's had a lot of use in its life. And I'm just looking at this, and it looks to me as though it might still have its protective covering over this part. You can see that it's sort of coming off here. I mean, wouldn't that be amazing if I could strip this off and we have the original, you know, in perfect mint condition decal that's on there? Because honestly, there's nothing broken on here. There's nothing chipped even. It really looks mint, almost. This is going to clean up so well. I can't wait to do that. So clean those up, find out what's going on here with the cartridge slot. We've got some joysticks that just need a good clean, and we've got a great working system. I mean, how old is this now? I think that this is what is known as the Atari 2600 Junior long rainbow model, because it has a long rainbow decal along it. Could be wrong. It's got to be 35 to almost 40 years old. Is that not amazing? Time to open up the console and see if we can't figure out what's going on with this cartridge slot. Now, I did look up online how to open this console up, because I don't know if you can see this, but there is a divot underneath the sticker here, which looks like it could be a screw. And this was a trick that they often use, put a fake divot there so that you removed the warranty seal when you didn't need to, and professionals wouldn't do that. Well, that's what I think anyway. But I looked it up, and I think all we need to do is remove 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws, and then there are some little tabs hiding in each of the corners here. Looks like it wants to open here, but it's caught down here. So I've got to lift it up at the back and then just push in on this tab. Yeah, I think the tab actually broke off. I mean, it's the problem. I mean, it's brittle. I'll just try and be a bit more gentle on this side. No, I heard that one snap as well. So I just think that they're quite brittle. Or I'm being ham-fisted, but I Didn't put much pressure on that. So let's take a quick look. Looks like there is a ribbon cable in there. So just pull that out. Yeah, so let's take a look at that. I think that's where the clip was. And the clip on that side, so they're both broken. But let's just see if we can get out this board. If you're going to open one of these, be careful, be ultra careful. Although I didn't put much pressure on those at all, so good luck with that. Okay, so here's the board. It's got some shielding over here, but we'll just take a quick look around the board. We've got a few capacitors here. They're always known to be bad, but we've got a working board. And there's a voltage regulator over here. So I think that's what it is. Yeah. To get at the other side of this, the cartridge slot, we're going to have to remove the shielding from this side. Looks like it's just got some tabs that need to be twisted in order to get that off. So this is Atari C021503 RFVF, so revision F. There we go. How is the cartridge slot held in place? Because it's so brittle, I do not want to do anything with this. But this plastic piece in here is held inside another plastic piece. And to be honest, it's pretty stable. This piece of molded plastic is holding this in place. And these clips here are just holding this second bit steady. And this is what I suspect is the problem, that there might be some cold solder joints on these pins here, so that even though this isn't moving very much, it is causing it to break contact with some of these pins. So before I go mucking around with it, I might get the microscope down there and see if we can't physically see something. If at all possible, I do not want to touch the plastic in case I break it. I'll take you on a quick tour of these solder joints. It's a bit hard to see at this angle. We'll just be able to detect whether there's anything really wrong that we can see. Where's the other? So I'm just flexing the slot a little bit. I'd really have to have a cartridge in it to do it properly. But I don't see anything really terrible there. So the other thing it could be is it could just be the pins inside the slot itself. Let's clean out the slot and get some contact cleaner in there. So I'm just going to put some canned air into here. And I've got some contact cleaner. And I've got this cartridge here that needs to good clean. So I'll put some contact cleaner on this cartridge as well. Need something to get down into that slot. There's still a bit of gunk down in the bottom here. I'm going to try my dental pick to get in there. Just clean the gunk out of this cartridge. Just give it a good clean with isopropyl alcohol. Okay, so that's nice and clean in there. Put a bit more contact cleaner. All right, I've got the case back on. One of the advantages, I guess, of breaking those tabs was the case fits back on without needing to be clipped in. So I'm just going to apply some power. Okay, so that's working. So we'll put this back in. Which way does it go around? It goes around that way. Yep. Apply some power. Nice. Okay, let's have a look. Oh, okay. So that is all fine. Well, that's good. So it looks like it just needed a really good clean. That's all I've really done is get some contact cleaner down in there and clean out the gunk, which technically I could have done. Well, I couldn't really have done a great job without pulling it apart. But that's really all it needed, and I'm glad of that because I didn't really want to go resoldering those pins just in case it caused more damage because it is so old and the solder is very old. But that looks to be working fine now. Might just quickly try the other cartridges just in case. Yep. Aha. So it's still happening on the tennis one. So does that mean it's simply the cartridge, that the cartridge is oxidized, the pins on the cartridge are so bad that they can cause that problem as well? All right, well, let's take that as a working theory and do a bit more work on the cartridges. So I'll just clean out all the gunk that's in them using isopropyl alcohol, just to clean up all of the dust that's in there. Otherwise it'll just keep fouling up the pins. So we'll get some contact cleaner on the actual pins. And give them a good going over. Let's see how that goes. Yes. Okay, so it's the cartridges themselves that are also part of the problem, whether they're the only part of the problem or now that I've cleaned the inside of the cartridge slot. Probably you need to do both, but definitely that's fixed that problem. Let me just quickly do PITFALL. Yep, so we have the problem. Now we give it a good clean. Okay. Let's see how that goes. Perfect. So definitely you need to clean your cartridges and your console before you go chasing electrical faults. Okay, I'm going to clean this up a little bit. First, I'm just going to put some contact cleaner in all of the sockets and switches, just a bit. And they all work, but I'll just give them a bit of a shot. For dust, I think I'll use my new X3 Hurricane system instead of the canned air. I'll have to turn the volume down. This thing is really powerful and it's really loud. This should just blow the dust off. I'm just going to use a makeup brush to get the rest of it off. I'm going to earth myself. I don't want to do too much to it. I don't want to put too much IPA or anything like that on it. It doesn't need it. There's always the chance that you're going to cause a problem, so yeah, I think that's fine. Put this back on and we'll move on to cleaning the case. So I've just got some cleaner. Now for the other half. I'm just going to take these outside to dry for a little bit, and then I'll come back and put it all back together. It's back together. Let's see if it still works. Yes. Great. Still have no idea what this game is. I'll have to figure that out a little later. So the last serious thing I need to do before I give it a final clean and wipe over is there's a piece of protective plastic here, or is this just part of the decal that's sort of come off? Am I going to make it worse or better by removing this? I don't know, but either way, I'm going to do it and we'll see what happens. Oh, I think it is the original protective coat. I think. Oh, here we go. Oh, yes. Oh, how satisfying is that? Oh, it's better than it was when it first came out of the box. Not a scratch on it. I'll try and get the glare off it. Look at that. Look at how good that is, the Atari. Oh, it sparkles. Okay, I need to get something to clean off this sticky stuff. I've got some eucalyptus oil. That should get rid of the glue and make it smell like a real Aussie console. Do a little bit just to see if it causes a problem. Okay, well, it looks as though these marks here are actually where the plastic has been scratched off, and so they're actually in the decal itself, not glue, as I first suspected. So that's about as good as I can get it. It's still excellent. And this eucalyptus oil actually on the plastic makes it look amazing. I don't know if it'll have any long-term effects, but it sure smells nice. Gonna have a go at 2 of these white joysticks and see if they clean up as well, because they are filthy. And being white, of course, they're showing all of the dirt and crud that has been used on them. So interesting to see how well they clean up. What a silly idea to have white controllers. Who thought that up? Of course you want to have a black controller. Doesn't show any dirt. All right, I've given them a bit of a clean. To do a proper job, I think I really need to disassemble them and soak them in soapy water or something like that. But for the moment, they're pretty good. So I'm going to put the whole system back together and we'll take a look and see what we've got. I've got to figure out how this dodgem game works. How does this damn game work? Okay, so it goes around. No, what's going on? Which one am I? Oh yeah, I'm that guy. I can only control it when it's red. Is that right? So that's supposed to select the game. No. What? So when it's green, who's controlling green? Is this supposed to be multiplayer and there's a third? No, can't be. Okay, everything's cleaned up. It's all working. I've almost figured out how to play dodgem. I'm really happy. I'm going to sit down and play some games now. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked the video, think about giving me a thumbs up, subscribing to my channel, check out my other videos. I'll catch you on the next one. Ciao.